and welcome to Wellbeing Café. Thank you so much for joining. This video is made to be repeated and to grow with you on your journey to touching your toes. Know that it takes time and consistency in order to create flexibility in the body. I would recommend taking this class once per week over the next few months while you're on this journey. Take it slowly and with as much patience as possible. Listen to your body and allow for intensity but never pain. I will have a timer in the top right corner of this video that counts up to 5 minutes for each pose. I recommend starting with 1.5 minutes for each hold and then working up in 30-second increments every few times you repeat the video. There will be a sound at the 1 minute and 30-second mark and then every 30 seconds after. For each posture, I will explain the different variations and options. As you may be repeating this video multiple times, I want to give you a few different options so that it doesn't get too stale. So I will have a chapter for the setup of each pose, and then you can skip to the timer part of that pose once you are set up so that you are not holding for longer than you mean to. The chapters will be located in the description below so that you can skip through whenever you are done with the setup or with the pose. Over time, you will be able to stay longer in each of these poses and gain more flexibility. I also recommend supplementing this class with more active classes such as the video up above. This will help you to build strength as well as flexibility over time so that you can build balance in your body. If you'd like to build mobility and flexibility into the rest of your body, we have an entire yin yoga playlist that I will link up above. And we're always coming out with more, so subscribe if you'd like to keep up with those. For today's class, I recommend having 2 blocks and a blanket and possibly a pillow if you have one, or a bolster. But know that if you do not have any of these props, that is also perfectly okay. And note that they also do not have to be yoga props. Like, you can use a book to replace a block or a normal pillow to replace a bolster. Make your way into a comfortable seated position. This can be any position in which you can sit up straight with a nice tall spine. An option to raise the glutes onto a blanket here to create a more comfortable seat. Wherever you are, close down the eyes and scan through the body. Notice what you are coming in with during today's practice. We'll begin with 3-part breath, a deep belly breath where we inhale first into the bottom of the belly, fill up to the ribs, and then all the way to the collarbones. And we exhale from the collarbones to the ribs and all the way down to the belly. We'll take 1 clearing breath together. Inhale and exhale completely. Inhale into the belly, ribs, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs, collarbone. Exhale, collarbone, ribs, belly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Continue with these deep belly breaths at your own pace, taking them as slowly or as quickly as you would like. And while you settle your energy, taking deep inhales and exhales, notice here if you'd like to invite a theme into your practice. This theme could be as simple as 1 word. For example, peace, kindness, or serenity. Or it can be a mantra, a phrase that you repeat in your head over and over to help you relax, such as I am at peace. Take the next few moments to settle down and notice if you would like to invite a theme into your practice. Take 3 more deep breaths at your own pace. Do not choose a theme. It's also perfectly okay to simply be here. Once you finish your final breath, gently blink open the eyes. Before we come into our long holds, we'll go through some gentle movements just to loosen up the body before we settle in. An option to remain here in seated or to come into tabletop position. And take any movements that feel good here. Maybe coming through some cat-cow motions. These can also be done in a seat as well. Or rolling through the chest in one direction and then the other. Allow these movements to feel good in your body. And allow them to require no effort here. Simply feel into your body, spreading awareness all the way from the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. 3 more breaths of exploration wherever you are. And as soon as you feel ready, go ahead and make your way back onto your glutes. We have options for our first pose. The first option is seated figure 4, where you bring the right ankle to the top of your left thigh, directly above the knee, but not on the kneecap. You place the weight into your hands, scoot the hips forward, and come into your depth, bringing the shin as close to the chest as feels good. From this position, you can place a blanket or bolster between your chest and the shin to create more support as you relax closer to the shin. And our second option is to come into Deer Pose. To enter into this pose, bring the soles of the feet to the ground and windshield wiper left and right. And once the knees fall over to the right side, shift the weight into the glutes and even out the connection of your sits bones to the earth. If one of your sits bones is lifted up, an option here to bring your pillow, block, or blankets underneath the lifted glute. This can allow your body to relax deeper into the pose without you having to hold that area up. And notice here, if you'd like to bring your feet closer to the body, it may increase the intensity of the pose to walk the feet out towards more of a 90-degree angle. Just take note of that and how your ankles and knees feel here. An option to stay upright or to fold over top of the right shin. If you have a bolster or pillow, you can rest your chest on top of the bolster or pillow as we come into the long hold. Stay here in Deer Pose if this feels good in your body, or else there's a third option to come into Firelog. For this pose, you lean into the right hip, bring the left leg up and over. The left ankle comes to the top of the right knee. Then allow the left knee to lower towards the right ankle. In this pose, you can place a blanket or block in between your knee and the foot below. Also an option to raise the hips up on a block or blanket to allow for more space here. You can either stay upright or fold over top of both shins. Come into whatever variation serves you best today. Take your time setting up. Whenever you are done with your long hold, you can skip to the next pose by clicking on the next chapter below. Settle into your pose here. In all 3 of these options, you will feel an opening in the glute muscle. For our first pose, we are releasing the glute part of our body. This is important for folding forward because if it's too tight, it restricts our movement of hinging at the hips. It may be pulling on other muscles as well. So very important to release in order to gain that flexibility and ability to reach our toes. Scan through your body and simply notice in which area do you feel the sensations and what kind of sensations are they. If they ever become painful, please lift out of the pose and come into a different extent of the pose or try out one of the other variations to see if it suits your body better today. Allow your feet to relax here. If you are folded over your leg, allow the weight of your head to become heavy. In whatever variation that you are in, send your breath to the tense areas of your body. Allow them to relax. Prepare your body to move from the pose. Inhale deeply and exhale. If you are in figure 4, move the weight into your hands. Gently lift the hips up and scoot them backwards. Straighten out the left leg to any extent, and then set the right foot on the ground. An option to windshield wiper the legs here. And take any other movements that feel good in your body. If you are in Deer Pose or Firelog, deep inhale. And exhale, slowly lift the chest up. Walk the hands back towards the torso. Shift the weight into the glutes. Slowly and with care, lift up the left leg and place the left sole of the foot on the ground. Do the same with the right foot. And we'll all meet with soles of the feet on the ground and knees towards the ceiling. And take any movements that feel good in your body here. It may feel nice to windshield wiper the legs side to side, to feel the opening in the opposite front side of the hip. An additional option to take some seated cat-cows by opening up through the chest as you inhale and closing off as you exhale for cat pose. Take 3 more breaths here, and any movements that your body's asking for, allow them to be as creative as you would like, making them intuitive and fluid or structured. 1 more breath. And we'll set up on the other side. If you took figure 4 on the other side, send the right leg out long, bend through the left knee, bring the left ankle to the top of the right thigh, place the hands next to your hips, and scoot the glutes forward as you come to your depth of figure 4. If you'd like to come into deer pose on this side, windshield wiper the knees over to the left. Take your time setting up here, adjusting with any props, maybe lifting the hips up or placing a blanket or bolster underneath your chest as you fold forward and release into the pose. If you would like to come into Firelog, then come into deer pose first. Shift the weight into the left glute and bring the right shin all the way around. The right ankle lies on top of the left thigh. Allow the right knee to rest towards the left foot. It doesn't have to be close to the foot, but just in that downward direction. Take your time setting up any props here, maybe bringing a block or blanket in between the knees, and then folding the chest down, maybe adding in a blanket or block as you reach your edge here, seeking for intensity. Take your time setting up into any of these variations, and the timer will start up above. Notice how the 2 hips may feel different. One may be more open than the other. What can you take away from these differences? And what can it tell you about the day that you had, or the week or year? During yin poses, we are aiming to relax our muscles so that we can further relax the connective tissues, the joints, and the fascia of our body. Releasing these soft tissues and joints can allow for greater flexibility and mobility over time. your body to move from the pose. Inhale deeply and exhale. If you are in figure 4, shift the weight into the hands and gently scoot your hips backwards. Send the right leg out long, then bring the soles of the feet to the ground. Take gentle movements here. It can be the same movements or different ones from last time. Just allow them to feel good in your body. If you are in Deer Pose or Firelog, inhale deeply, exhale. Slowly walk your hands back towards your torso, lift the chest up. Use your right hand to gently lift the right leg up and place the sole of the right foot on the ground. The same can be done with the left. And invite gentle movements here. Maybe here you close down the eyes and allow your body to tell you exactly what it needs. Our bodies tend to know what counter poses we need more than our minds do. So see if you can feel where you need the movement or where you need to hold certain counter pose. Any pose or movement that feels good in this moment is the correct movement for you. 3 more breaths here. Once you're ready, we will all meet in tabletop position. If you have blocks, you may want to keep them close to you at the front of the mat. Inhale, extend the right leg behind you. Exhale, bend through the knee and bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. You may want to have a blanket or other cushion underneath your left knee here to release some of the pressure on the kneecap. Tuck the toes under and walk the knee backward to any extent that you feel a nice intensity in the front side of the left quad muscle and the psoas and hip flexors here. An additional option to bring blocks underneath the hands to lift the ground towards you. In this variation of the pose, you will feel a greater opening in the right side of the hip and also a deep opening in the left front side of the hip and thigh. Or if you'd like to intensify the sensation in the front side of the left leg, then walk the right foot underneath the right shoulder, stay down low, or lift up with hands interlaced on top of the right thigh for dragon pose. Take your time setting up, and we'll begin the timer now. If you are in lizard lunge, an additional option to lower elbows towards the ground on top of a bolster, pillow, or blocks. And note that at any time during this hold, if you would like to switch to another variation, maybe bringing the hands to the ground, or switching between dragon and lizard pose, you can do that. And also an option to try out both of the poses so that you can better understand what your body needs today. And then choose the one that feels right to you in this moment. Wherever you are, remember to breathe. This pose can be quite intense, so be mindful of your body, how you feel here. Take special note in this pose if you feel any painful sensation around the sits bone and hamstring connection. Come out of the pose, invite engagement into the glutes, as we don't want to irritate the hamstring connection to the sits bone. This is otherwise known as yoga butt, or the pain that you feel in your sits bone from overstretching the hamstrings. Something to definitely be aware of on your journey to touching your toes. And also another very good reason to invite strengthening movements into your practice as well. Prepare your body to move from the pose. Deep inhale and exhale. If you are in dragon pose, gently bring your hands to the ground or blocks and heel toe your foot to the outside of your right hand. If you are lowered down on the elbows in lizard lunge, gently lift up to the hands. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the hips back, straighten out through the front leg. Invite gentle movements into the right leg by waving the front foot side to side. Feel the opening in the right hamstring, a beautiful counter pose to the deep bend we had in the knee. Take any other poses or movements that you need here for the next few breaths. Maybe flossing the leg by bending into lizard lunge and then back into half splits and repeating. 2 more breaths wherever you are. As you're ready, plant both of the hands on the ground or on blocks, and then return to tabletop position. Bump the hips from side to side, and then find a static position. We'll come into the left side now, either lizard lunge or dragon pose. Inhale, extend the left leg out long. Exhale, bend through the left knee. Bring your foot to the outside of your left hand. If you'd like to stay in lizard pose, angle the left toes outward, remain here. An option to stay lifted or to lower down to the elbows, maybe coming all the way to the ground or coming up on a block, bolster, or other supportive structure. Stay in lizard pose if you'd like to feel more of an opening in the left hip. Otherwise, follow me into dragon pose by heel toeing your left foot underneath your left shoulder. Find length in the spine here, an option to either stay low or to lift up with hands interlaced on the top of the left thigh. This may greatly intensify the sensation in the front side of the right hip and thigh area. Set up your pose in any way that you'd like, and I'll start the timer. Even though the goal is to be able to touch the toes over time, it's also important to gain flexibility in the opposite side of the body as well, to open up through the psoas, hip flexors, and quad muscles additionally, so that we create a balance in the body and avoid injuries created by overstretching the hamstrings. And additionally, in a society where we often sit for most of the day, it's important to stretch out this side of the hip, allow it to open up and be an extension for a moment. Because most of the time when we are sitting down, the hip joint is in flexion, shortening the muscles on the front side of our thighs and hips. Breathe into the psoas, quad, and hip flexor as you release into the pose, seeking for the intensity, allowing the muscles to release as we reach the connective tissues, the fascia, and the joints. An option here to invite ocean breath, a calming and audible breath that allows you to release deeper, to calm the nervous system. If you know how to do ocean breath, go ahead and begin. Otherwise, I will walk you through. We'll do a clearing breath to start off. Inhale. And exhale completely. Deep inhale. Open mouth exhale as if you're fogging up a mirror. One more time, just like that. Inhale. Open mouth exhale, fog up the mirror. For the next round, we will make the same sound, but seal off the lips. Deep inhale. Seal off the lips. Audible, ocean-like exhale. Continue with this calming breath throughout the rest of the practice, as long as it serves you. If you ever lose the breath here, simply allow it back in and allow it to calm your body and help you release deeper. Prepare your body to move from the pose. Deep inhale. Exhale. If you are in dragon pose, bring the hands to the ground or to blocks. Then walk your left foot to the wide edge of the mat. We'll meet in lizard lunge. If you are in sleeping lizard with forearms on the ground or block or bolster, gently lift up to the hands. And all together, inhale here. Exhale, straighten out through the left leg. Bring the hips back for wide half splits. Wave the front toes side to side. Feel the rotation in the left hip here. An option to additionally floss forwards and backwards, using as little effort as possible. Stay in these structured movements or invite other intuitive movements into the body. Maybe twisting open and circling through the arm. Make this your own for the next 3 breaths. And we'll meet in tabletop position whenever you are ready. Slowly make your way onto your glutes, maybe by kicking the legs to one side, lowering the glutes down towards the ground. Bring the soles of the feet to the ground and the knees up towards the sky. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold over your knees. Reach towards the toes. The toes can lift towards the ceiling here. And slowly walk the hips backwards to your extent of caterpillar pose. To set up for this posture, you can Bring a blanket or pillow underneath the glutes to gently lift them up and provide more space. An option to keep a generous bend in the knees as well. If you do have any props, you can also place a prop underneath your knees or underneath your chest as you fold over to create more support for your body as you release into the posture. Take all the time that you need setting up here. And if you do have a very long blanket, you can also fold part of it underneath the knees to prevent hyperextension. Remembering here not to force the body to go deeper than it needs to go. Seeking for intensity, but never pain. And know that every yin pose that we do is a journey that takes time and patience and repeated exposure. See if you can release the expectation of what you think the pose should look like in your body, and simply allow it to be as it is today. The goal here is to simply feel the sensation in the hamstrings and the calves, the lower back area, as we open up and allow our bodies to gain more flexibility over time. So there's no need to push yourself too far to go past the point of pain here, or to force your body into any certain aesthetic. Allow this pose in this moment to simply be another part of that journey. If you feel more space open up in your body, an option to remove a prop to go even deeper, or if you feel that anything has become too intense, please lift out and add another prop in if you have one, or invite a more generous bend in the knees. Be gentle with your body. As yoga practitioners, it can be difficult to remember sometimes that we are not meant to force our bodies into any pose. Rather, we are meant to take those poses as a starting point, a place where we can seek for the sensation and make micro adjustments so that the pose suits our body. We can adapt the elements of the pose to suit our needs for each and every practice. And maybe that is part of the practice itself, to gain more awareness of the body and what it needs in a given moment. And know that over time you will gain this awareness, this ability to know what your body may need in the moment, or what sensation you are seeking there. With each inhale and exhale, notice how the body releases, allows you to go even deeper into the pose. As you inhale, the back expands, and as you exhale, the back lowers down as you release deeper. Prepare your body to move from the pose. Inhale deeply and exhale. Slowly walk your hands back towards your hips as the chest lifts up. Place your hands beside your hips and shift your weight into the hands. An option here to bend through the knees, to windshield wiper once again, or to keep the legs out long and just shake them out. It may feel good to open and close the chest here. 3 more breaths of movement. And we will meet with the legs out front once again. Inhale, draw the right knee into the chest. Rock the hip from side to side. And place the right sole of the foot on the outside of the left thigh. Hug the knee into the chest. Lengthen through the spine. An option to stay here if this feels good, or to circle open the right arm towards the back of the room and plant the right hand on the ground. Find length in the spine as you inhale and twist deeper as you exhale. An option to keep the left arm exactly where it's at, or to bring the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh as you twist deeper. We're not seeking for too much intensity in these final poses. We are simply neutralizing the spine before we come into our final resting pose. So allow this pose to feel good in your body. Deep inhale. And exhale, slowly unwind. Hug the right knee into the chest. And then send the right leg out long. Hug the left knee into the chest. Rock the left hip from side to side. Once you're ready, bring the left sole of the foot to the outside of the right thigh and hug the left knee into the chest. Stay here, or circle open the left arm towards the back of the mat. Left fingertips land behind the left hip. The right arm can either continue hugging the knee in, or you can bring right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, deepen, twisting from the belly button. In this position, see if you can allow the head to fall backwards as if landing on a headrest. Nice tall spine. Inhale deeply. And exhale, unwind. Hug the left knee in. Then send the left leg out long. Shake out the legs here. Before we come into our final resting pose, I'd just like to say thank you so much for joining for class today. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, please like and subscribe and let me know how this went for you in the comments. And I'll see you again whenever you repeat this class in the future. Always good to practice with you. And with that, we will go into our final resting pose. We have a few options here. The first one is to remain in a comfortable seated position. The palms can remain facing up towards the sky, or you can place them face down on the knees. The second one is to come all the way down onto the back into Savasana. If you have a blanket, blocks, or pillow, you can place one of those props or multiple stacked on top of another underneath your knees for a more gentle and supported feeling. And the third option is to come into any other final resting pose of your choice. This could be Supta Baddha Konasana with soles of the feet together and knees out wide. supported bridge pose with the lower back supported by a block, pillow, or bolster, or any other pose that would finish off this practice for you today. Take all the time that you need, setting up your final posture. Make any fidgets or micro adjustments that you need to become comfortable here. Wherever you are, bring gentle awareness to the space between the eyebrows. Release tension from this space. Gentle awareness to the jaw. Release tension. The chest, shoulders, elbows, wrists, and hands. Gentle awareness to the core. Release tension. The hips, glutes, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. Bring gentle awareness to your entire body. Release tension. If you chose a theme for your practice today, I invite you to reconnect with that theme, maybe repeating the word or mantra in your head, and seeing how you connect with it here at the end of class. For the next few moments, allow yourself to rest exactly where you are. Allow yourself to just be, and I will call you out when it's time. An option to pause the video here and stay as long as you would like in your final resting pose. Otherwise, invite gentle movements to the fingers and toes, circles in the ankles and wrists. If it's comfortable to do so, reach the arms high overhead and point and flex the toes for one last full body stretch. Slowly make your way onto one side. And rest here for just a moment. Slowly, and as you're ready, lift up into a comfortable seated position. The eyes can remain heavy. Inhale, arms reach high overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, lower thumbs to third eye center. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere find peace and happiness, and might my words, thoughts, and actions create a space of peace and happiness for others. Bow towards one another to close off the practice. And as you're ready, slowly lift out of the pose and blink open the eyes to take in the space around you. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be coming out with new content each and every week. Maybe I'll see you on the same video again or on a different one. And I hope your day is beautiful wherever it takes you next.